What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to another True Raider podcast. Please remember to hit that like, hit that subscribe. And I want to get into what we're talking about on this video, man. So I'm going to share this on the screen real quick because there was a video that was on Instagram Live with Jayden Daniels and Malik Nabers. I want you guys to take a look and then let me know what you think.
But Jayden going. We'll keep it interesting there. If you want to do all that, I'm gonna say where he going. And y'all never gonna believe it.
Wow.
He might might be part of the old homie.
Wow. That's what you want to do? That's what you want to do? Okay.
He
Okay.
might be partners with his old homie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll let y'all guess.
I mean, really, I'm not the first one to drop this. I'm sure you guys have probably already seen this video and other content creators talking about this video. I know there's some videos that were dropped about it yesterday. There were some live shows today, but I want to talk about it, right? Because, yesterday I first saw it. Sanji T, put this up, and, he was really talking about, people talking about the old homie being Antonio Pierce and the connection there with Jayden Daniels and AP going back to Arizona State. And then today I saw on a live where Graphic Raider was talking about that he really doesn't feel like they'd be referring to AP as the old homie, right? And that would probably be somebody more like a Brandon Ayuk with the San Francisco 49ers. And there's some speculation going on about maybe what they're looking at is that the Commanders take Jayden Daniels at number 2, and maybe they've already, kind of leaked some information to him as kind of a pull to bring him in, of that they're going to see about trading for Brandon Ayuk and reunite them there with the Washington Commanders. And I don't really know. I want to know in the comments what you guys really make of this video, right? Because, both of these takes make sense to me, right? And then there's another take, and I'm going to get to that. But the whole connection with him and Antonio Pierce, I could see that being like the old homie, right? Partnering with old homie, as Malik Neighbor was saying. And you can see throughout this video that Jayden Daniels is like kind of showing a little bit of nervousness when he brings that up, right? When he brings up that topic, and then after he's saying, Malik Neighbor started talking about partnering with the old homie, he might be partnering with the old homie. Jayden Daniels says, I don't know what you're talking about, right? And so the way he said that didn't signal to me that it's like, oh, I haven't heard anything about this. I don't know. It was more of like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, right? Like as if he knows a little bit more information than we do, right? And I would expect that. I would really expect that these players that are going in the first round, that they have some of this inside information. They've met with teams, they've talked with coaches, they've, sat down with GMs and owners, and they've heard a lot more of like what the plans are, and more of what's going to be laid out and what to expect in this upcoming draft. And so I could really see how Jayden Daniels could have some information from Antonio Pierce and the Las Vegas Raiders about their plans to move up for him, right? But on the other end of that, I could also see where, Jayden Daniels could have some information. And of course, Malik Neighbors was his wide receiver. They're at LSU, and they're both going in the first round. And of course, they're talking about, what they've heard, what kind of meetings they've had, things like that. So it could be that, Jayden did meet with the Commanders, and the Commanders told him, yeah, we're going to choose you at number 2, and we're going to try to reunite you with, Brandon Ayuk. And they could be talking about that and just kind of throwing some stuff out there for the rumor mill. That way we get to spin in and talking and making videos and all that good stuff about it, right? But there's another take to this, right? That I didn't hear considered by anybody I've heard talk about this so far. And that is Jack Jones. Jack Jones also played with Jayden Daniels at Arizona State. Jack Jones could be somebody that they could be talking about partnering with the old homie, right? And Jack Jones has made it very, very clear on social media. He's not trying to disguise it or, anything like that. He has said straight up that he wants Jayden Daniels. And so does Antonio Pierce, right? So really, if Jayden Daniels were to go to the Raiders, he's paired with not only Jack Jones, his old homie, but AP, his old homie, right? And I see there being a lot more possibility of being paired in that way because, yes, while I do see it more likely that the Commanders could take Jayden Daniels at number 2, I don't see it as being as likely for them to be able to make the move to go get Brandon Ayuk. Now, the Washington Commanders made a bunch of moves during free agency. They have just a ton of picks. I think it's, I don't even want to misquote it. They got a ton of picks that are in the top 100, right? And so they do have some draft capital that they could move and things like that. They, from my understanding, they do have some cap space that they could play with. But I don't really see it being in their best interest to really make that move. Now, I could be wrong, right? And that could be what they're really going for. But for the Las Vegas Raiders to make that move to go and get Jayden Daniels at this point, I think that what's happening right now with all the rumor mills, with all the content creators, with all social media and all these mock drafts is that people have just kind of given up on the idea that we could get Jayden Daniels because it seems like a lot of draft capital to move. It seems pretty impossible. There's a lot of rumors out there like, oh, the Commanders are already set on taking Jayden Daniels at number 2. Of course, the Commanders are going to say that because they want to up the price on that pick, right? Because they're listening, no matter all these reports that are going out that they're turning down all the offers and things like that. Maybe they are, but it doesn't mean that they're not listening. They said straight up that they were going to go ahead and listen, and they made it sound like they were going to listen and maybe pass, which could be the case, right? There's also rumors about them wanting Drake May and JJ McCarthy at number 2. Rumors are rumors. It's rumor season. There's going to be all kinds of stuff that gets talked about. Who's to say that they actually do want Jayden Daniels? I think what they do want to do is drive up the price because they want somebody to come in and offer them an insane amount for that number 2 pick. So, of course, they're going to say that they want our guy and their guy and anybody else's guy that's going to make it profitable for them. I don't know that they're going to take him or not, right? I do know that Raiders have a lot of incentive to move up and go get him. They really do, right? Now, we saw what happened with Jack Jones, right? And he was on Instagram Live and he's kind of, poking at Patriots fans that are, talking a bunch of crap to him. And, a lot of Raiders fans are getting all pissed off, like, oh, he's a loose cannon and he's doing this and he's doing that. And really, I mean, let him cook, man. Like he's out here and he's talking to a fan base that, that they've been sending him a bunch of disrespectful stuff on social media. They've been going at him and I don't think that he said anything that's going to get him in any kind of trouble, right? Let him speak his mind, Too many times players have to be all hush hush about how they really feel about situations and things like that. And, and he didn't say anything bad about the Patriots. He even talked good about Kraft and all these things, right? Because that's, they're who drafted him. I think that Jack Jones, right? He had a bad experience with the Patriots. He ended up getting cut. We picked him up on waivers, and we got to see Jack Jones fired up to play for AP, right? Having that culture fit, right? Having that confidence, having that freedom can really put a player in a position where they're going to thrive. Now you take a Jayden Daniels and you put him in that same situation, right? Because it could be he gets drafted by the Commanders, the Patriots, and totally ends up being a bust. Or he might thrive there. We don't really know that, right? But what I do know is that if he got drafted by the Las Vegas Raiders, he is going to thrive. Just from the connections with AP, getting reunited with Jack Jones, being in a position where he has good receivers, he got good targets, and the culture fit. I really think that he would show up and play for AP in a way that he's going to show up and play for any other team. And so like when Jayden Daniels and Malik Nabers go on Instagram live and they start talking about this, they know what's going to happen, right? They know that it's going to hit the rumor mills, and they did a good job of not giving too much information, just enough information for speculation, right? Now, when they're talking about him being partnered with his old homie, it just doesn't sound to me like he's going to go somewhere where they might be able to make a trade to partner him with an old receiver. Sounds to me more like pretty good chance that he's going to end up getting partnered with somebody that's already there. Two people that he's already has connection with at Arizona State that are already in the same building. Let me know what you guys think. I really want to hear from you on this because, to me feels like this was very optimistic video for Raider Nation. And part of me also feels like maybe it's not, right? Mitchell Renz was talking about how this was negative news and things like that. And actually, I'm sorry, I misspoke on that because he was talking about Colin Cowherd thing, which that guy, I've heard him say so many things, right? I'm talking about Colin Cowherd. I've heard him talk about so many things in this very negative way. And I see him spin a lot of things in a negative light towards the Raiders on a constant basis. So I'm not really taking any validity in that. I watched the video and he only said a little piece that was really in touch with that. And the other guy on the show with him, I don't even know the guy's name, was actually making it sound like that it could be a positive thing for the Raiders. But I want you guys to let me know down in the comments, what are your true thoughts about this, right? Because I don't think it's time to give up on the idea of Jayden Daniels, right? And I see a lot of people settling where, they're like, well, let's just go with a Michael Penix Jr. We could try in the late first round or pick him up in the second round. He's not going to be there. He's not going to be there. I have another video. Go check it out. Well, I'm talking about the run on quarterbacks, right? And he's not going to be there. Michael Penix is probably going to go in the top 10. And I think a lot of people are just kind of settling and saying, nah, let's not even draft a quarterback. Let's run it through with AOC and Gardner Minshew, pick up a right tackle, pick up a corner. And yes, these are needs, right? But we don't have these huge glaring holes that people are trying to make it out to be, right? If we got a quarterback like Jayden Daniels right now, I don't see us being like, damn, if only we had filled these holes instead of getting this great quarterback. I don't see that being what would happen. I could see us more being in a position where we decided not to trade up and we filled up these holes with on our offensive line and cornerback, and then we go and we watch Jayden Daniel cook somewhere else, and we're like just thinking about that whole CJ Stroud thing that happened where Ziegler wanted him and McDaniels didn't, and he came out, he cooked immediately. Let me know what you guys think. Please hit that like. Please hit that subscribe. It's free to you. It means the world to me. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.